Yeah.
Yeah. So I came up with a good agenda today. So we'll see how much concepts we can cover today. So we'll start with a Python control flow. Okay. So here I will teach like what exactly conditional statement and loops in Python, right? And then we can also discuss some inbuilt data structures in Python. So here comes list and list comprehension. And then tuples and sets and dictionaries. And we can also see any kind of a real world use cases. And if there is a time, we can also discuss functions in. So in functions, we have like a different set of things like function, lambda, map, filter, all those things. Okay, these are the agenda that I have today. Let's go this. Okay, I can open this. Right. So first we'll see like what exactly the conditional statements, right? So basically when you write something or like when you talk with other persons, right? So you will talk in some kind of a let's say if you want to attend a lecture attend a lecture tomorrow, right? So but there is a condition that if the professor is available, correct? So in the similar way, in day to day, whatever the things we do, everything will interrelated to a background condition. Okay. So in the similar way, we need to communicate with the system also, right? So whatever we do, all the systems, computer systems or software is built on top of like a default conditions, and sometimes user defined conditions will be there, right? So customized conditions which will be required to domain or which will be required for a set of users, correct? So to fulfill those things, in every programming language we have a different conditions, and then we'll have a different syntaxes. In Python, we have like a if statement and then else statement, elif statement, and we also have like a nested conditional statements. Okay, so these
Okay.
are a set of conditional keywords, or you can think like a statements which we're gonna discuss. So first thing was if statement,
State.
right? If statement, maybe I will give you an example. Let's say age equal to 20, right? So we need to see we are building a voting system and we need to allow only the users who are greater than 18, correct? So now you need to see whether the age is greater than 18 or not, right? In that case, we need to write if age
Age equal
greater than or
greater
equal
than
to
or equal to 18.
18, and then you can just print or
Yeah.
return whatever you are eligible
Eligible.
for voting. Okay, so this is the way of writing if simple if. Okay, so here if the if loop, if you see here, if this condition is true, then only you will go into the block of the code which is inside a if block. Okay, we call this as a if block, and then the followed by code whatever the lines you write, right? So maybe you have some other lines. Let's say you have another line, you have another line. All these things called like a code block inside a if block. Okay. Now we'll say like a else condition also. How do you write? So this is a simple if condition. Now we'll try to see if and else conditions. If else, right? With a combination. Let's say the same age equal to greater than. Now let's say age equal to 16, right? So first thing, We have to check whether the age is greater than or not. So this is what if the person is eligible. If not, what is that? So in that case, we have another condition, correct? If not, we should print something. So we have to print that you are not eligible for voting. Okay. You are not eligible for voting. So this is how you can write a if and else block. So this called if block and followed by else block. So this else block will only execute if the condition of the if statement is failing. Okay. So that's the one thing. And then when you have only two conditions, either this or that, then you can use for a if and else. Let's say if we have multiple conditions, right? So in those cases, we have a one more keyword or like we have one more conditional statement called else, right? So let's say age equal to 70, okay? And then if age, let's say I'm writing something like this, and I will explain it after writing. So age equal to less than 13, then maybe I will mention you are a child. Right? I also wanted to see whether this guy is a teenager or not. Okay. If age less than 18, then maybe I will bring that for a teenager. Okay. And else print for an adult. Let's say if I'm writing like this, right? So in this case, I have multiple conditions, right? In that case, I need like a elif. Okay. This is what about like a simple if else, if and elif conditions. Now let's see what are the nested conditions. Nested conditional statement, right? So sometimes you can place one or more conditions, and inside that you can place another conditions. Let's say if you want to print some kind of a number, and then you have to see like whether that number is a even or odd, right? So in that case, you need to see first thing was whether that is a number or not. So that is the one condition, and then you are going and checking that whether that number is a even or odd, correct? So you have like a you have a nested condition. Okay, you have to check for sure those two conditions should meet, right? Let's say I'm giving like a I'm taking user input here. So input, enter the number, whatever the user will do. Okay. So now what I will do is will close this parenthesis. Now if I'm writing that if num greater than 0, which means that I will print that the number is, I'm just checking whether the number is positive or not, and then I will check like if the number is positive, then I will check even or odd. Okay.
Okay.
The number is positive, right? Now if number percentage 2 double equal to 0, then I am checking that it is a even number. This is a normal simple logic to check whether the number is even or odd.
Even
Okay.
number.
I hope this you are familiar with this. The number is even. Else the number is odd. Okay. If the number is itself is a negative, then what I need to print? I need to print the number is negative. Okay. So this is what nested conditional statement. Okay. So what we do? So here we wrote like a if else. Inside a if we wrote another if else, right? So it's a nested, right? So let me execute this. So now if I execute fall, if I execute fall, the number is positive and then number is even. So now if I execute 1 minus 1, see the number is negative. So it is not going inside this loop.
If loop, the
Okay.
second is loop.
Yeah. Now if I write like 3, right? See the number is positive and it is saying that the number is odd as well. Okay. So it is going at this line here.
Okay.
So now maybe I will give one more real-time thing. What we can do was, let's say you are trying to create a user login system. Okay, user login system. So what are the things you need? Tell me. Whenever if you log into any system,
Like the
so what are
mail
the
or the phone number and the password.
correct. So let's simplify like our system, our web UI or whatever the thing. We have only one thing: username you need to enter and password. Okay, so you need username and password, right? So if the username and password is success, then you have to enter, right? So in this case, do you think we need nested conditional statement or give only normal if and else is enough?
Maybe the regular one is fine, like the if else one.
No.
But
So here you
we
need
need more attempts when we forget the password.
that is correct. But see, let's say when you are logging into your Gmail, okay, first thing,
Okay.
let's say if I'm going to here log into Gmail, correct? Uh, okay, it's already logged in. Maybe let me open it. Are you able to see incognito?
Yeah.
Gmail log. Not only Gmail, anything. What it will ask, first thing it is asking the email. Okay.
Mail
So
off.
if I correct, right? So it's not asking directly the password here. Even if there is a system or like if there is a platform where you will have a single page where you will have email and then password followed by, and below there is a submit button. Even if you are submitting with those and after entering those two things, it is not a simple if else, it's a nested if else. What it will do was first it has to check whether your user ID is present or not. Right? So
Okay.
if the user ID is present, then only
If
you
the
have to
first
verify.
one is correct, then it goes to the second, like the
Correct.
inside loop.
Correct. Exactly. That's why you need nested if else here. Got it? So it's not a simple if. If the user ID is present, then only you have to check password, or else you won't get the password in the database also, right?
Okay.
So now let's say I'm using some predefined username. Okay. Let's say maybe I'm initializing here. I'm not creating any DBs on the now. Okay. Then password. Let's say I will give password 123, right? And I will take the input from the username, and I will copy this, and I will ask the user to enter a password as well. Here. So now I took the credentials. Now I need to check the login, right? First, if username equal to stored username. If it is matching with the stored or like if it is already available in the system, then I will go and check if my PWD equal to stored. Then I will print that login successful. Right. So if not, what I have to do? Tell me. If not, in this nested if or like in this else statement, I need to write incorrect
Pass.
password. Okay. Let's say if the username itself is wrong, let's block here, and then if I'm printing something here, what it means that username itself is not found, right? So we have to display username is not is found, and then try creating a new account. Correct. So this is what the typical login system you need to enter. Now let's say if I am writing admin, 1 second. Okay, that's my bad. Wait. The username should be SQ. I just copied so I forgot. Yeah. So now admin is present. That's why it is asking the password. Correct. So if I am entering everything, it's successful. Now if I re-execute admin, and let's say if I am giving password is different, see, incorrect password.
Okay.
Got it? So another thing was, let's say if I am entering username as user. So it should not go inside the like username.
The username should not be correct, then it goes to the other thing.
One second. Something is missing. Yeah. So we need to enter username. If I am entering Uday, so Uday does not match with this one, and it should print username match. Okay.
It's going inside the loop.
Correct. One second, please.
You got the else loop after asking the password.
No. See, I wrote this is a main if block, right? So
After
inside,
you have entered the username Uday, you have entered the
so
password. After that, it's printing like user not found. Try to create a new account.
correct, it should print. So actually, I'm entering username Uday, correct? So username and it will match with a in the admin. So now it is not matching. So it should come down and
It's
print else
asking
block.
for the password. It should not even ask for the password.
Ah, that's what I'm saying. Something is missing it. One second, please. A simple code over here, but we don't know why it is. Okay, got it. I got it. Okay, so you have to enter both. Then only it will give. Okay, I think like what I wrote was I wrote in a single sentence or like at a single time to enter like a username and password at a single time. Okay, then it is checking. So we can also do in one more way that you can remove this password enter here. Okay, and then you can put your input statement here also. In that case, it's something like if the username is not found, then you will check it. Got it?
Okay.
Yeah, both the ways will work. There's no error in the code, so I just confused you. So what we are doing was we are taking both and we are checking. Okay. So
If the user was correct, then it goes to the if statement, the down if statement.
right,
Before we
right.
wrote about the if statement, so it is printing 2.
Correct, exactly. See what I wrote was I wrote a query or like I wrote a code in such a way that you have to enter both the things, username and password at a single time. Then it will check. Okay. But what I thought was, I mean, what I explained was we need to enter a username first. If it is validating, then only you have to enter the password. The one we just saw in a Gmail UI, right? Gmail is, it will take like first email, then you have to go to the next. Okay, so before going to next, there will be at the back end validation will be doing. Correct?
Okay.
Yeah. So this is about the conditional statements. Now let's go and see about the loops. Okay, so loops are nothing but, let's say when you want to do like a task, a repeated to the, let's say, n number of times. Okay. Uh, let's say you are doing some backend database work kind of. Okay. So you are inserting some rows every day, every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, right? Like that. So in that case, what you can do was, or like a you have to run something for n number of users, right? So if you want to do any task n number of times, then you can use like a concept called loops in the programming. Okay, so in Python, typically we use like a for loop and while loop. Okay, so now you have to understand before going into loops, there is a concept called range function. Okay, so what this range in the sense like you have to you have to do that task n number of times, correct? So let's say if you are to do 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, right? So in that case, you have to keep that n in some kind of a function that is called range here. So what you are doing was, so if you put the n number in the range function and print it, so what it is giving, it is doing the range 0
Gives
comma
the
5.
value from 0 to 5.
Yeah. So when you use this one, it will try to repeat the task 5 times. Got it? Now
Okay.
let's try to understand for loop. We have a the looping methodology or like a looping mechanism in Python programming can be done using for keyword and while keyword. So if you are using a for keyword, the syntax is start with a for keyword space and you have to specify, you need to iterate a variable, correct? So the variable currently I am using I, okay, and in range 5. If I am writing like this, what I am doing was I am iterating a variable I 5 number of times, okay. So and now I'm just printing I, okay. So if you see, you notice 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It is stopping at a 4 and it is not printing at a 5. Okay, because the index will start at a 0th position. Got it? So this is about the simple for loop. So let's say if you want to print number 5 also, in that case, what you can do was you can specify the range 1 to 6, right? If you want to print the numbers from 1 to 5, correct? So
For
in that
less
case, what
than 6, you can just print 5.
yeah, you can do that also. I'm saying that if you want to print numbers from 1 to 5, okay. So in that case, you have to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you can
In the
keep like this.
before one, we didn't give the initial number, so it's printing from 0.
Correct,
But we have given the range of 1 to 6, so it's printing from 1 to 5.
correct, exactly. So in for loop, you also have a another thing called, I mean, the typical range syntax is nothing but, so it is a start, end, and step value. Okay, so let's say if I'm specifying starting from 1 and then I want to print till 2, print till n, and I want to skip and my step count is 2. So what it will do was it will try to print, and it will start from the number 1 and then it will skip the next one and then it will print the other one. Okay, the next one. So
Like the
that's why
odd
you will,
numbers.
correct. So now in this case you will get an odd number. So what it is doing, one is printing and then next one is skipping, next one is printing 3, right? So like that. So in that case you can use a step value. Okay. Now let's say if you want to print from a reverse order, right? So in that case, you can just keep like a -1, right? Let's say if I want to keep the print numbers from 97531 instead of 12357, right? So I can keep like a minus value, so which will start your index from a, sorry, yeah. So you have to specify the start from 10,
9.
right? So because you have to specify the maximum number and then minimum number, and then you have to print. Okay,
Okay.
got it. This is with the skipping of 2. Let's say if you want to print all the numbers, then you can just put like -1. It will print all the numbers.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's say you can also iterate over a strings also. So currently I am iterating over any kind of a number value. We can also iterate over string values. Let's say if I'm writing name and then DS data science data CINC data science, right? If you want to iterate over this name, what you can do for element or any variable element in name, and then if you can print element, then what it will do, see, it is printing at a character by character. This is how you can iterate over strings also. Clear?
Okay.
Yeah. So this is about the for loop. So there is a one more loop called while loop. While loop is nothing but the while loop continues to execute as long as the condition is true. Okay, sometimes you will get scenarios where you will run the loop continuously, infinite number of time, or like as long as your condition meet, right? So there is a database. In the database, you don't know where at what position I mean that in the database you need like a specific row with a specific condition, but you don't know that is present in first position or like sixth position or seventh position or nth position, right? So in those cases, you have to keep on running and keep on checking until unless you get the fine, you need that specific row. So in those cases, you can use like a for loop, sorry, while loop. So with a specified condition, what you will do, you will keep a condition until unless I get the row, right? So in the similar way, you can use a while loop here. So you have to specify the condition first, then execute the code. When the condition is met, the for loop will be, I mean, the while loop will be broke. Got it? So now let's say if I'm writing count equal to 0 here, I want to print till my count is less than 5. Okay, let's say if I'm writing like this. Now what I want to do, I just want to print the count here, and I have to increment count equal to count plus 1. What I am trying to do here was I'm just printing all the numbers till 5. Got it? So now 0 is printed, 1, 2, 3, 4. As soon as 5 is, the count became the 5, and then condition was false and it came out of the loop. Got it? So during these kind of a scenarios, you can use like a while. Okay. So now you have to understand loop control statements as well. What are these loop control statements in the sense like? So let's say first thing all break. Okay. In any loop, let's say if you meet some particular condition, you are going for numbers 1 to 100. Okay, in between, if there is a number called 5, I want to stop the process. Correct. In those cases, you definitely need some braking mechanism, right? You want to stop at a particular point. Correct. So then you are controlling your entire loop at a particular condition. So you have to use a braking mechanism here. So that will be fulfilled by using a break keyword in Python. So now let's say if I'm writing for I in range 10, okay. So if I equal to 5, then I want to break. I don't want to print anything. I want to come out of the entire loop. Okay. If
Okay.
not, then I just want to print it. Okay. See, as long as I became 5, right? So then it is breaking the loop and it is not printing anything. Correct.
The
So
next
in those
number.
cases, sorry.
Sorry, it's not printing the next number of 5
Yeah,
after
correct.
5.
Exactly. So in that cases, you can use a break statement. There is a one more statement called continue. Okay. So let's say you want to, if you meet I equal to 5, you want to skip only 5 and you want to print other numbers as usual, right? In that cases, you can also use a continue. In that cases, you will use like a continue. Got it? Let's say you are iterating or like you are iterating from 1 to 10. You want to print only odd numbers. Okay. If there is a even number, you want to skip that. Got it? So in that case, you can use if I percentage 2 equal to 0, continue, else I just want to print that. Okay. Wherever even number is there, you are just skipping that. You are not printing it. 1, 3, 5, 7. Right? In these cases, you can use a continue. Also, there is a one more control statement called pass. This is only for Python programming. So whatever the break and continue, we have in other languages as well, Java or C, C++ as well. But in Python, we have a specific conditional statement called pass. So which means that when you meet a pass statement is nothing but it's a kind of a null operation. It does nothing. Okay, whenever if the condition is you don't want to do anything, right?
Yeah.
Let's say if I'm writing something like this. Okay, so let's say 5 is there, you don't do anything. See, um, okay, so what is happening was it is printing all, but it is going inside the loop, it is not doing anything. Got it?
Like
You
even
won't
it's
be,
printing 5.
yeah, even it is printing because my print statement is outside the loop. What is happening was when the I equal to 5, okay, it will go inside the loop. It will also go inside this, and it will go inside a if loop. It will print the path. I mean, it won't do anything. Come out of the if block, then it will print. Got it?
Okay.
Maybe I can also show you initially. So let's say entered loop, entered if block. Okay, so if I'm writing like this, let's see whether it is whether it is printing or not. Okay, it will print. See, after 4, it is entering into the block, and then it is coming out of the loop. Sorry, it is coming out of the if block and
If
printing here. But when I remove this print, what it is doing? It is not. It is not doing anything. Correct? It's just nothing. Okay. So in these cases, you can use like a pass. So what you might have asked me in which
what's the
scenario,
use
right?
of it?
Yeah, for the use of it. Correct. So when you are working in a bigger architecture, bigger projects, right? So sometimes your product designer or like your architect will ask you design a end-to-end project in a single day or like a maybe in a 2 days, right? In those cases, you will just need to keep a architecture and then your technical flow, correct? So you just go with a let's say uh, you are trying to build like a student login system. Okay, I will give like an example. Student login system. What are the things you need? First thing you need a login page, correct? And then you need a authentication mechanism and DB, storage, store the DB. Let's say you are doing all those things using your Python programming language. So what you will do? One second. So what you will do? Maybe I will write a class login, right? Initially I don't know, right? I don't know all the parameters, all the requirements and all those things. Right? Then what I will do, I will just create a class and I will add a pass condition here, which means that there is a future requirement that I will write here. Okay, so in those cases, you can use a pass statement. So you just write a code and then you will keep this as a placeholder for future purpose. Got it?
Okay.
Authentication pass, right? So class store db. Okay, so in these cases, majorly pass statement will be useful, right? You can't simply give like class db and push the code to GitHub. So it's a wrong, right? So when you are using a class keyword and then you are specifying a class name and then you are not specifying, I mean, you are pushing the code here, which means that it is syntax error. See, it is syntax error. One second. Let me comment this. See, this class DB is expecting some colon. Even if you are doing colon, inside this see incomplete input. So in those situations, you can keep like a pass. So pass is a kind of a majorly for a placeholder in the future future modules, all those things. Clear? So now
Okay. Yes.
we all, as we learned like a nested condition, we also have like a nested loop. A loop inside a loop is called nested loop. So let's say if I am iterating over for I in range 3, okay, and then for j in range 2, print, I want to print I comma j, just I want to print I comma j. Let's say if I'm using this one. Are you aware of this f strings? Hello.
I'm seeing that in the print statement. I'm seeing the first time,
Correct.
like F
So
star.
correct.
I,
So you know normally this way, right? I mean within an entire string, right? So but there is a one more method. If you want to access any variable inside a print statement, not only print statement, any variable also. Let's say if I am creating Uday name, okay, and mostly let's say you are assigning some uh, full name, okay. You can use something like, one second, name Uday. Let's say if I want to full name, what I can do is I can keep name here. Then I can add my last name. Okay, you can also access like this also. Okay, this is one way. But most probably we will use in a print statements only. Print statements, if you want to print any kind of a variables that have the values in the print function, you just need to keep like a f string here. This we call as a f strings. Just f before a string, and then you can keep those as a I mean all those variables inside the normal string format. Okay, see, now I'm printing zeros, one, and all those things. It is coming because of the f string. If I remove this, it just print like a this curly braces with inside a I. Got it? Clear? Hello. I hope it is clear. Are you able to hear me?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I was asking you like whether are you fine with this f-string methodology or not, because f-string is also we use daily for real life. Okay, just for printing statements and assigning some variable names or not. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So whenever you want to access some variable inside a string, right? You are writing some string statement here. Let's say I'm writing this is second data science class. Okay, and maybe I'm writing with I want to get your name, right? Instead of writing Meghana directly, maybe I will write the student name, and then I will keep a f string here. Okay, and then I will get a name outside of the paragraph. Got it? Yeah. So you can also access like this. So this is about the loops. I hope it is clear. You
Yeah,
can just
it's
practice. Yeah, you can just practice like if you want any simple examples, like
okay.
sum of first and natural numbers, or like simple prime numbers between 1 to 100. Those things you can simply practice. You can just find more examples in the online. I'm not wasting the time here in the Python, so we'll go quickly here. Okay, and wherever if there is a more complex concept, I will put more time and then I will explain.
Okay.
Let's say next thing is we'll go for a data structures, inbuilt data structures in it. See, there are two typical data structures are available. So in normal programming language, you will have stack, queue, linked list, tree. All those things are called by default data structures. Along with those, Python has like a another data structures called there is a extra data structures we call, which will be useful for doing your task. So those are called list, tuple, sets, dictionaries. Okay. So we'll talk about like these are very important things. So we will use all these things in interview. Means in some of the interviews also people will ask, and then in your daily Python programming or like coding also you will use this list, tuple, all those by default
Yeah.
data structure. So let's try to understand what is a list. Okay. So a list or ordered. Let me write these statements and then I will explain. Unmutable collection of items. See, I'm giving very simple definitions or like a bullet points for you to remember. You can also always read through the blogs or always read through any kind of other online resources to go if you want to get like a more definition and book definition. Okay, but these are
Okay.
enough to just to explain to anybody. Just try to grab the concept, and then make a some kind of a story how to tell to other people. Right.
Okay.
So that's suffice. So they can contain items from different data types. Good. So these are the things you just need to remember. So list are ordered. I will tell you why it is ordered, why it is mutable, all those things while I'm writing the code. So, but basic syntax was, let's say if I'm writing a variable list and you just need to keep like a squared braces. So I'm initializing a list here. If I'm writing like this within a squared braces, this is a list. Okay. You might have asked me, how do I know whether this is a list or not? So we always have a function called type, which tell you what class it is belonging to and what data type it is there. Okay. So now if I'm printing this, see, it is a class of list. So which means that we created a variable lst with the class list or like a data type list. There. So this is what. Let's say I told you right, list can contain items from different data types. What I mean by different, so let's say if I'm
It can
creating,
be a string or the integer.
yeah, exactly. So I will write by maybe 123. I will also write 123.45. Right? I will also write true. Right?
Floating.
It has all the type of data types. So now if I'm printing names, don't throw any error. It is taking all the data types. But when you compare in normal traditional programming like C or like a C++, array is a concept. So where it will have like a similar data types, right? You can't create any multi or like multiple data types of arrays, right? So, but Python list will allow you to create a list with multiple data types elements. So that's the beauty of this. Okay. So now, how do you access the list, right? Accessing the list. So let's say if I'm writing fruits, apple, banana, grape, right? So you need to access the list. So here comes the whether list or order or not, right? So now I will access my value, or like if I want to access my apple value inside a fruit, correct? How do I get? So I will access with a value 0. I will tell you why I am accessing with the 0, because list will always start with a index called index.
Zero.
It will start with the index and that index is 0. So that's why list are indexed. So apple is a 0, banana is 1, grape is 2. So it follows an order, right? So you can't uh, you have to access in an order only. Then, let's say if you want banana, you can keep 1. Okay, let's say if you want grape, you can keep 2. Okay, this is how you can access the list, right? There is a one more thing also. You can also access the list, elements in the list from the backside, or like in a reverse order. Let's say we want to get the grape. So what is the typical thing I told you? you can keep in a fruits equal, I mean fruits of 2. I can also access with -1. See, so list also will be accessible with the, from the backside also. From the backside or like from the reverse side, it is a -1, -2, -3, and so on. Clear?
Okay.
Yeah. So one more thing was there is a one more concept called slicing. Let's say you want to access element from apple to banana. Okay, it is single time, right? How do you access that? Let's say or
Print fruit 0, comma 1.
print fruits. Tell me. You can
0,
keep like
comma.
this.
Okay.
Not the comma, it's colon. Sorry, I think it's here. Yeah. So 0, comma 2. So it's a colon, not the
Okay, not comma.
comma.
Okay.
Okay. So this is what. This is also slicing. Or else if you want to access from 0 to all the elements, right? So you can just keep like 0 and
Empty.
you don't need to keep the empty, which means that there is no end position. Clear? So this is what accessing the elements or like accessing the values from the list. Okay. So let's say there are some other list methods are available. List method you need to understand few list methods. So let's say if you want to add one more fruit to the entire, or like you want to update this list, right? I want to append some value. How do you do that? So I will do append operator, maybe orange. See, I just added. How do you know whether I added or not? You can just print the fruits. See, it was added at the end of the list. Got it? So it's not added at any particular position. Right? Let's say if you want to add this some value at a particular position. This is 0th position, right? Apple. So I want to add after the apple. So what you can do, there is a one more method called insert. Insert. Then you have to specify the position. You have to specify the particular value. Maybe let's say watermelon I've added. Let's try to print. See, it is added at the first position in the list. But this is one more thing. Let's say if you want to remove a particular value, I can remove watermelon again. So there's a function called remove. It will just remove the value. Clear?
Okay.
Yeah. So also, there is a one more thing called pop. It will remove and return the last element. Okay. So okay, we'll just there's a method called pop. Okay. I will tell you what exactly the use of that method. So remove dot pop. Maybe let's assign this to what exactly the pop would be. If I'm printing like this, see what it is doing was pop will remove the end of the value or like end of the value in the list. So the last value is rm. It is removed from the list and it is returning here. Okay. Now if you print, just like the initial is what we created. Got it? So what it is doing was the pop method, it will remove and return the value. Clear?
Okay.
Yeah. So this is one more method, and then you also have like a let's say you have some value. Okay, your list is like a 10,000 or like 11,000 elements or like a n number of elements. You don't know where the value is there, right? You want to find the index. How do you get that? Let's say I have grape. I know the only value. I don't know where it is present. Right? So for that, you will have like a method called index. Let's say if I want grape, right? So this is index, and I'm printing index. I'm assigning to index and beginning. See, the grape is at second index in the list. Here, this is what the another one. Let's say if you want to sort the sort sort the entire list. Okay, so we have a by default method called sort. So it will by default it will sort and it will given a sorted list. So currently it's already sorted, it doesn't give anything, but maybe let me create a one more uh, list here. So I will remove the banana here and I will keep the banana in a third position. Now let's say fruits, right? And then I will do fruit sorting. So sort. I'm not assigning anything. So what it is doing well, it is in place, it is sorting and updating the same variable. Okay, see now, it is already updated. Clear? So this sort method, like a sorting thing, is very useful during the interview because sometimes people will ask you to do sorting all those things.
Okay.
Okay, and then let's say if you want to print the list in a reverse order, you can just use the reverse keyword. See now the list was reversed. Okay, it will reverse the list. Let's say if you want to remove all the values in the list, you want to keep any an empty, right? You can just do clear, and maybe if I print, see it's nothing. It's an empty string. Okay. Yeah, so these are the major methods you have to remember. So one thing is append, insert, remove, clear, pop, index, sort, and reverse. Okay, just try to
Okay.
remember these things, how to do and all that. You just try to remember the names. So when you are practicing and when you are doing multiple examples, now you will get it easy.
Okay.
Let's say, how do you iterate over a list, right? So you just need to iterate. Let's say you want to iterate over each and every element and print it. How do you do that? So it's nothing but okay. So maybe let me create fruits again. How do you iterate, right? So you just write for element in fruits print element.
Element.
Okay. Sorry. Spell mistake. Yeah. See, I'm able to iterate or and access each and every element in the loop. Clear? Let's say you
Okay.
want to, sometimes you will get like a, you want to take the index value. So currently you are just printing the value, right? So, but sometimes you need like a iterate over a index also. In that case, we have a one more method called enumerate. Okay. So what it will do was iterating with an index for index comma element enumerate fruits. I believe there is an error. Yeah, in the keyword I use in, maybe I will use index comma element. See? So we are printing index as well, right? So in these cases, we will use like a enumerate function. Got it?
I
Yeah.
have a question
So
again. Like before near the login and the password, you kept the string right first, and when we modify it was clear. Can you check that once? I have a doubt right there.
in this one,
Not this one, the before one, the login and the password. Loops one.
here, uh, I think here.
Yeah.
What is it?
Like the input was the string, right?
Correct.
We just created before string, first you kept the int, but there was an error or something. You kept the string in front of the input. But now it's not there.
Yeah, you can keep or it's up to you. I just removed. You
Okay.
can keep it. There is no harm. You can do it here.
If we keep
But
it or if we don't keep it, that doesn't make any difference.
it doesn't make any difference when you don't have any requirement. Okay.
Okay.
Let's say if you have a requirement that username should contain like a capital letter. Okay, let me give you a capital letter and a small letter and a symbol and uh, a number, right? In these cases, if the username or password should mandatory contain all these things, then what do you think? Do you think should we keep integer or should we keep string or should we keep anything?
Okay.
We need to definitely keep like a string. So here we did not have any predefined condition. This is just a dummy example. That's why we just
Okay.
keep string or not. So by default, this input will take a string format only, or like any other format it will accept. So now if you see, if I remove this one, it will accept anything, whether it is a string, whether it is a integer, it will accept because I entered a 1, 2, 3. Right? Even if
Okay.
I enter another string format also it will accept. So this we are explicitly saying that we are doing a validation here. So we are specifying a string, and then if we are entering a number, then it is a wrong, right? So you have to enter only string value. Okay. So why I
Okay.
removed in the sense like I just wanted to debug is there any logic error in the thing. So it's
Okay.
okay, you can
Got you.
keep string or not. So it all depends on the requirement what we have.
Okay.
Clear?
Clear.
Okay, so let's get back. So this is called enumerate. So it is an inbuilt Python function. When you want to loop over any iterable, like let's say if you want to iterate over a list or tuple, anything, right, with the index, then you can use a enumerate function. Clear? So we call this enumerate as an iterable function over iterable. So this is iterables, right? So list and tuple we call as iterables because these are all like some kind of a values which will have like a in a ordered all those things, right? So we
Okay.
call these are iterables. Now let's go and see there is one more important concept called list comprehension. So it's nothing but shortening the list format. I mean writing the list format, right? So when you have like a multiple lines, right? Let me write something. Let's say if I have list here, and then I'm just iterating over for I in range 10, and then I'm just appending to a list, right? And at the end, maybe I will do okay. 1 second, X. Sorry. Yeah. So what I did here, I just iterated over 10 values, and I'm appending to my entry list, correct? And then I'm printing here. So what I'm doing, I'm using like a see here. I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4 statements here, correct? And if you want to do any kind of operation, let's say if I want to do, I'm taking the value and then I'm powering up this value by 2. See what it is doing? I'm just squaring up, right? So what
Okay.
it is doing, it is taking like a 4 statements. So apart from writing these 4 lines, we can also do in different way in a single line. Okay. So what we can do was we will take x for x I in range 10. Okay. So this is what see both the things are same, but I just did in a single line. So
Okay.
this is called writing a list comprehension. So when you have like a for loop or a list and all, very simple operation. Okay, let's say you have like a another statement like this. Then list comprehension may not work. Okay, why means if you have like a multiple condition, not multiple condition. Let's say if you want to execute a multi lines, 5. Let's say here inside a for loop you have like a thing like that, 15 lines. It may or may not be possible to write in a single comprehension. But if there is a very simple operations you are doing by using each and every element in the list, then you can do list comprehension. Got it? The basic syntax is nothing but you have to keep an expression here. So here the x power 2, whatever we are writing, it is nothing but an expression here. Okay, the basic syntax is expression for item in an iterable. Got it?
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the basic one. So now I will show you one more thing was with condition. Let's say sometimes you want to keep the you will check the number whether it is a I mean, whether it is a even or not, even or odd, then only you will keep the value in the list. In that case, what you have to do, ideally, for I in range 10, uh, print. Okay, you will write if clause if I percentage 2 is equal to 0, then I will come and I will print. Right? Let's say if I want to append all those things to a list, what I need to do, I will give like a append list. Before printing, what I will do, I will just append lst, sorry, not lst, I, and I will come out of the loop. I will just print the list. What I am doing here, I'm just checking one more condition also, whether the number is even or odd, correct? So this, previously we did not have any condition, we are just doing an operation here. But here we have an operation and then we are appending, okay? So now this is also possible with a list comprehension, okay? Because this has a only one simple condition. So what you have to do, first thing was, let's say if I am writing I or I in range 10. So here I will write if my I percentage equal to 0, then I will keep it in a list. Let's say this is even list print even. See, it's the same thing, but I have done it in a single line. Got it? So when you have like a very simple conditions, maybe multi-line conditions also, you can just keep it in a single line. Okay, this is very important. People will ask you to write in a list comprehension way. Got it? You try to practice this with multiple examples. Let's say sometimes what we will do was we can. I mean, I will show you after some time maybe when we are going into functions and all those things. So we can also see like how to do uh, how to call a function inside a list comprehension as well. Got it?
Okay.
Let's say we can also do nested list comprehension. What is a nested list? Sorry, not nested list. Okay, correct. Nested list only. So what is a nested list? Let's say if you are calling inside one, if you are calling two loops, right? If you are calling two loops inside a list, then what you can do was, I have, let me create a one dummy list. 1, 2, 3, 4. I also have list 2, which have A, B, C, and D. Okay, I want to iterate over these two lists. What I will do, maybe I have to create a for loop inside a for loop, right? Before that, maybe without a list comprehension, we may have to create in a for loop inside a loop. But with the list comprehension, we can easily do that. What I am doing was, I will just keep for I in list 1, for ij in list 2, and I will take those values, I will keep it in a I comma j, and I will just, maybe I will keep this to a variable called page, and I will just print that page. So what is happening was, I'm taking one value and one value, correct? So this is nothing but nested list comprehension. Okay? Instead of writing like this, so for I in LST1, for j in LST2, print a comma j. If you are writing like this, you are writing a three
Prints
statement. But
value
when I'm
from first and the second.
correct, so I'm just writing in a single statement. Okay, this is a nested list comprehension. Clear? So now these are the major things for the list. So maybe I will give you some more examples with the list examples. Let me create. These are the basics about the list you need to understand. When
Okay.
you see where do you use this list in a real world, right? We will do some examples. Let's create one notebook. List examples. Right. Typically, let's say if you want to do like a the most common use of this list data structure is nothing but if you want to manage any kind of a to-do list, right? So you can create a to-do list and keep track of those tasks and all, and whether it is done or not, right? So in those cases, you can use like a your list. Okay. So let me create a one sample thing. Manage to-do list, to-do task list, right? So what I will do is I will quickly create a one task list. Here maybe I will keep like buy groceries, and then I will clean the house. Let's say pay bills. Right? I just created one something like this. Yeah, it's a double quotation. You can keep anything. So double quotation or single quotation. It doesn't matter. Let's say you got new task. What do you do? Adding a new task. Clear? So I will just do list dot. What is the function? Tell me. You just log. It is nothing but append. Got it? Now I added to my to-do list. Okay. Now let's say I also got one more task. Maybe I just wanted to go for a run, right? So now let's try to print here what is the to-do list. All right. So this is what. Let's say if you want to remove any task which you already done. If you done the cleaning the house, how do you do that? You'll just remove that. Again print. Clear? Now let's say if you forgot what are the tasks are there in your to-do list, right? What you can do? Maybe like let's say you already, I mean you forgot like whether you done the bill payment or not, right? So you can check that if pay bills in to do print, don't forget to pay the bills. Right? You just want to keep the reminder. In that case, you can also do this. So maybe you just want to print to-do list remaining. Again, you just print. Okay. See, in this case, you can use like a list format which you can do easily. Got it? Or maybe sometimes you just want to manage an inventory, right? So you have like a some kind of inventory, fruits inventory, let's say apple, banana, oranges, and you want to see
Okay.
what is the new item. Maybe you are doing like a grocery business, right? So in those grocery, you just have like at the starting stage, maybe you have 4 grocery items, right? After some time, maybe you added a new items. In that case, what you need to do, you need to add those things to your list, correct? So in those
Okay.
cases, also you can use this list thing. Or sometimes, let's say you are trying to collect a user feedback, right? So in the user feedback, usually you have like a any 4 methods you already kept. Let's say great service, very satisfied, could be better, or any other thing. But after some time, maybe based on the user engagement or like after some scenarios you saw on the internet, maybe the product, other products, how they're adding the feedback and all, then you came and see like I just wanted to add one more feedback, I'll get one more feedback collection. Then you can just keep that another thing. You just need to add that thing. Maybe happy with the service. That's a different string you want to keep in the user feedback screen. Then you will just add that also. So it's just like list.append. Okay, clear. So in those cases, you can use the list comparison.
Okay.
So I think let's stop here. So maybe we'll go for like, I mean, list is a very initial concept, right? So that's why it took more time. But like maybe from tomorrow we can go a little fast and we complete like another data set. So tuples and all those things also is important. whatever method we have in this, the similar method will be useful for the person.